Can Count Dracula help you get 50k in Nightmare 4? That's the question we're going to answer in today's video in Watcher of Realms. I'm the Blue Max, and join me for this demonstration. All right, so here we are in Nightmare 4, and this is the team I put together for you. So, first of all, in order to establish a baseline, I ran this comp using only Elwyn, Dao-Chan, Nastia, Numera, and Vorn, and they alone can get over 51,000k on my account. So, using that as a baseline, we're then going to see just how much damage Count Dracula adds to the mix. Now, he's tricky. As a chaotic, he loses health as he triggers his ult. In fact, he only attacks when his ult is going on. Otherwise, he provides some support benefits in that he gives soul rot to 2 DPS in within 2 adjacent tile. We're going to have to work very hard using Elwyn and special timings to keep him alive. Let's jump in. All right, so the fight is loading up, and first thing I do is I like to get this more portrait view, and this is the exact sequence I used previously to get 51,000. Numera gets about 180,000k with Vorn and Nastia between 140 and 150. So we drop Numera facing up, then we drop Elwyn facing down. We immediately check, and she is giving her attack speed bonus. That's from her Invig set, and then her artifact is giving attack speed periodically. Next, we're going to drop Vorn in this corner, and then Dao Chan facing up. And once again, she is granting her benefit. And now we're going to get Nastia as we move Dao Chan into Song of Sorrow. And finally, we're going to drop Count Dracula onto the field. And so, okay, so we're using a Wings of Grace on Dao Chan, and Vorn has a 12% buff. And we will not be using Vladov. He's just there to give the additional bonus, or rather the Lord bonus, that as HP goes down, we are going to see Dracula's damage go up. Now, Nastia is the only DPS on the field that uses a manual ult other than Dracula. I'm going to go ahead and trigger that auto ult. You'll see Dracula is not built in the auto ults. And here's what I found in testing. Dracula is really challenging to keep alive, but he can only do his ultimate when the boss goes into the shield attack. And what I have found is on my account with my Pantheon bonuses, we can just squeeze in a second ultimate during that time period. And we're going to alternate our heals between Elowyn's ultimate and her Wood Elf. And you watch my trick. Once the shield comes up, we're going to put Dracula, or rather, we're going to trigger Dracula's ult, and then we're going to momentarily put him in the auto casting settings. That way, we get an instant ult the next time it charges up. Now, I've been able to clear Nightmare 4 50k for many months now, but I have pretty much memorized the timings of when the shields come up. It's at 4 minutes and 5 seconds. 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and I believe it's 1 minute and 26 seconds. So those are the numbers on the countdown that we're going to watch for to know when it's time to get Dracula into the field. So as soon as this meteorite impact lands, we're going to be just about ready for Dracula. Okay, I got to kind of slowing it down. And there we go. And I was actually a little bit off there, but we'll see. It should still work perfectly fine. So now Dracula is doing damage, and watch this counter, and you're going to see Dracula does a lot of damage. Now, we are going to, when Dracula's ultimate is about 75% of the way done, we're going to go ahead and trigger Elwyn's healing ultimate so that as soon as Dracula's done with his, he's going to immediately get very significant heals because he's going to need them to stay alive. Okay, and here it goes. So again, Dracula is in the auto cast, and as soon as the second ultimate triggers, we have to take him out. Otherwise, he'll ult again and he will die. Now, as you can see, Dracula has a very cheap ult, and he's got very good rage regen, and so he comes back really fast. And you'll see that presently, Dracula is catching up with Nastia. Now, we have the Wood Elf in play now, and so we are watching very carefully. And once again, we're gonna drop that Wood Elf at about 75%. So that so that Dracula is going to get healed on. As you can see, it is very, very narrow. Okay, we stop right now, take Dracula out. And now, honestly, we can double time this until we hit about 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and then we'll slow everything down once more. All right. Okay, after that meteorite impact, we're going to try to time Dracula's ult a little bit better this time. Okay, should be about there. There it goes. All right, we trigger it, and now we put him back in ult auto casting. I mean, we could slow him down at about 95, 97% rage and just sit there and tick, tick, tick. And the moment he gets his rage, we could fire him off again. That can work as well if that's your comfort zone. But I have to admit, I really like these auto ults. They are very, very handy. All right, so Dracula already back up at 50%. And I actually forgot, because I was talking, I forgot to trigger Elowen's ultimate, but as you can see, it wasn't really necessary because at this point, the boss, or rather the dragon, is not attacking. All right, so dragon is promoting, and we take Dracula out of the auto cast, and we let him do his thing. You can see he's behind Nastia, but he's doing a lot of damage. I can tell you right now, okay, we're going to go ahead and cast our healing ult. I can tell you right now, he's going to clear over 100,000 using the gear that I have. By the way, I should have mentioned this earlier in the video, but we're using Hell's Lament. And the reason why is because Hell's Lament improves damage during the ultimate. And that makes the most sense for using Dracula because the only time he does damage is when he's casting his ultimate. All right, so we are just about there. We got one more of those meteorite impacts, and then we're going to run his ultimates once more. All right. Okay, he healed. So we'll go ahead, and this time we're not going to put him back in the auto cast, but rather we're going to show how you can just very closely and very carefully manipulate his ultimate. We will go ahead and cast Elowen's heal this time. There it goes. Okay, and so Dracula is healing up, and he is generating that rage super, super fast. And as you can see, he is about to clear 100,000. All right, so he is okay. We're at 98%, and you can see 500 rage. That's crazy. And so we're going to just patiently wait it out and then fire off his ultimate immediately. Okay. So what I find here is we're going to wait for the Infernal Roar to get cast after this ultimate, I mean. And about 17 seconds, with 17 seconds left in the fight, we're going to cast Dracula's ultimate one more time. He will die, but the key is we're going to get some additional damage out of him. We're already at 105, so I actually did better this time. I'm not sure why, to be honest. All right, so we're watching that timer. Really, it's going to be as soon as that Infernal Roar has fired off and we get him back at full health. He's not there yet. There he goes. Okay, firing off Dracula. Got him off a second earlier this time by casting Elowen's ultimate. Here in just a moment, he will die, but as you can see, he is clearing a lot of damage, and there he goes. He's down, but as you can see, we cleared a significant amount of Dragon's Blood on this attack. And to answer your question, yes, Count Dracula is going to be very viable if you are still trying to clear Nightmare 4 and you okay, so let's look at those breakdowns one more time. So in my baseline fight, let's see, Nastia did 140k and she did 139 this time. That's about right. But Vorn originally did 141k. Now he did 152, and Numera did 190, and now she did 205. So clearly, I would argue that Numera and Vorn received the Soul Rot bonus from Count Dracula. So not only did he do almost 115,000 damage to the boss, but he also provided additional buffs to the highest DPS. So that's about another 11,000 and 15,000, so 26,000. So overall, Count Dracula added 140,000 damage to the fight. So definitely a very viable hero for this fight. It's going to be easiest if you use Numera, and again, you're going to have to really watch where you place him, what healing range he is in, and you're going to watch exactly when to cast those ultimates in order to keep him alive and do as much damage as you possibly can. Provided you have good rage regeneration, you should be able to get 2 ultimates, but if you're a younger account and your Pantheon bonuses aren't as high, you may only be able to get 1. Nevertheless, this is definitely a viable option. If you're an early to mid-game account and you have yet to clear 50k on Nightmare 4, this may be just the hero you need to push you over and get that maximum reward daily. All right. If you have enjoyed this content, thank you so much. Please consider like, subscribe, comment, help me build the channel, grow it, and I would greatly appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Thank you.